We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin. There's been a lot of talk lately about the propaganda being spread by Russia's state-sponsored media. But when you get right down to it, how is it any different from the United States mainstream media and social media? In October 2020, the New York Post exclusively reported on the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop that he ditched at a Delaware repair shop in April 2019. The laptop's hard drive contained a trove of emails, text messages, photos, and financial documents between Hunter Biden, his family, and business associates, detailing how the president's son used his political leverage in his overseas business dealings. The mainstream media called the story unsubstantiated and didn't investigate. Now, a comprehensive report about the ongoing federal probe into Hunter Biden's tax filings has been published by the New York Times, confirming the information of the first son's laptop. The New York Times quietly deleted its assertion that an October article about those dealings was unsubstantiated. And even though the New York Times has finally come around to reporting the facts, they did bury the article. You had to dig 20 pages into the A section to find the 1,700-word news story by three of its top reporters, relating that the Justice Department's investigation of President Biden's son is not merely a tax matter. The prosecutors are probing his penchant for cashing in on his father's political influence through payments by overseas entities for which he did not register as a foreign agent. If you wade 23 paragraphs into the story, you will learn that prosecutors are examining emails between Biden and his business associates that come from, quote, a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Hunter Biden in a Delaware repair shop, unquote. It wasn't just the mainstream media that parroted the unsubstantial line without investigation. Twitter and Facebook blocked users who tried to share the New York Post article, literally silencing opposition, and in some cases banning them from the platforms. Again, without any investigation, the media labeled the story, quote, Russian misinformation, unquote. This was active suppression of the facts and punishment for those trying to discuss them. Now, because these companies are private enterprises and not part of the government, this was not a violation of the First Amendment. Now, Facebook, however, in the meanwhile, has crossed that line when they acted in partnership with the Biden administration to suppress opinions about COVID that the Biden administration did not agree with. Now, this was not a matter of stopping conspiracy theories and misinformation, as the platform claimed. They suppressed scientific research and medical professionals who had data that contradicted Anthony Fauci's talking points. The same thing happened during the Russia collusion investigation. The media pushed the story that Trump colluded with Russia. The Mueller investigation found no such collusion occurred. But even after the Mueller investigation concluded that there was no collusion, Congressman Adam Schiff, the Democrat from California, went on CBS This Morning And he stated that Trump colluded with Russia in direct contradiction of the investigation's findings. Not one of the three anchors conducting the Schiff interview contradicted him or even questioned him about why he was contradicting the investigation's results. More recently, it has been found that the entire collusion story was manufactured by people in the Hillary Clinton campaign, if not Clinton herself. And the mainstream media has been downplaying that information, despite members of the Clinton campaign being indicted. Now, I have often pointed out on various podcasts that an indictment does not necessarily mean the person is guilty, but it is an important fact that the media needs to report impartially. The problem is continuing today. Biden has attempted to blame Putin and the war in Ukraine for the record-setting inflation. Mainstream media parroted that claim briefly, but there were too many economic experts on both sides of the aisle for them to support that claim for long. Biden switched tactics to blame the oil and gas companies for gouging the public. The White House even tweeted a chart allegedly credited to Bloomberg to support this argument. A Bloomberg reporter countered by posting the actual data that contradicted the chart from the White House. Despite the facts being easily available, the media is taking the talking points from the administration rather than fact-checking and investigating. Insiders in the media know this is a problem. John Malone, who has been involved with media for decades and is a major investor in Discovery Communications, which just bought Warner Media, including CNN, recently stated in an interview on CNBC that, quote, CNN has no reporters, unquote. This is a key problem. If you don't have reporters who can investigate stories and fact-check statements, you end up with a propaganda machine instead of a news organization. The media has been referred to as the Fourth Estate. The first verified usage of this label seems to occur in an 1828 essay on constitutional history of England by Henry Hallen, written by the British historian and politician Thomas Macaulay, in which it states, quote, "The gallery in which the reporters sit has become a fourth estate of the realm. The publication of the debates, a practice which seemed to the most liberal statesmen of the old school full of danger to the great safeguards of public liberty, is now regarded by many persons as a safeguard tantamount, and more than tantamount to all the rest together." Now, the key statement there is that reporting the facts of what goes on is a safeguard on government. If the news media simply repeats what the government says, we lose that protection. It's also interesting to note that even in 1828, it's pointed out that the liberals don't want the truth being reported. The media's job is to point out when the emperor has no clothes. To do this, they must investigate everything, regardless of which party says it, whether they want it to be true or not. Otherwise, mainstream media is no better than state-sponsored propaganda. That's the raw, naked truth. If you have a topic you'd like us to look into, you can contact us at xvadio.com/connect. You can hear this as well as the rest of the Xvadio podcast network at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.